Hello and welcome to Talking TSM, the Game House's talk show about TSM's LCS team. I'm Robert Haynes, your host and your guide into the world of, well, what I just mentioned, TSM's LCS team. I apologize for not doing Monday's show. Again, since we don't play for a while, and this is what I said on Twitter too, I just felt like, I could do one episode this week, and we'll probably do one next week as well. And this will likely be the beginning of us doing one a week from here on out. So, just letting you guys know now. I'm still very excited. I haven't decided if I'm going to do them on Mondays or Thursdays yet. After the season is over, I will probably let you guys know that in the episode before. Well, I guess I won't know when we're officially eliminated, so you'll see it. Just be on the lookout. And with the off season will come changes, good changes, hopefully. I think promising changes, to say the least. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about last week's games. Here, I'm going to let you guys know now. I in the comment section below, let me know what you guys think of this roster right now. Who would you keep? Who would you take? Who would you get rid of? What in your mind, who has done enough to stand out that you believe is worth, being on the 2023 roster? So I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on that. But today, we're going to go over the games that were played. We're going to talk a little bit about TSM Academy. We'll talk about the TSM to LEC rumors, or I guess speculation is what I would call them. And after that, we'll talk a little bit about the playoffs and what that looks like. In case if you didn't know, we finished 7th. Yay! 7th. Spear fingers. I don't know. Happiness. And I may not seem happy. I am happy that we at least made it. So, good news. All right. Continuing on. Let's quickly talk about these games. The win over CLG was a thorough thrashing, a thorough stompage. Everybody looked good. I thought Chime specifically looked awesome again. I mean, this guy is... When he... I do worry a little bit about the amount of champions that he can play, but I think he's going to always be good on Engage, and his enchanters, I think, are, if it's not Bard, are still pretty solid. I love what I am seeing from him, personally. Every single game I look, and I'm like, oh, this guy feels like he could potentially be a top 5 support in the LCS right now. I think it's a shame we did player voting for the LCS, and he wasn't available for or for most improved player. I understand their criteria is pretty specific for what you can vote for. I don't think I'm allowed to reveal exactly what it is, but Chime was not available for most improved player. I still obviously don't think he was a top 3 support, so I couldn't put him in all pro for that. So any awards that I might just give him the MVP for the season award. I don't know. We'll see. I'll be doing that later on whenever we get eliminated, which maybe that won't be until freaking, I don't know, October, November time when I'm at Worlds and I'm recording this and you guys are like, oh my God, Rob, can you believe that that Chime and Spica have carried this team all the way to Worlds? That would be something. If this team goes to Worlds, I don't know what I'll do. I will dye my hair. Yeah. If this team goes to Worlds, I will let you know now. This brown, sandy blonde beautifulness. Not that there's a whole lot to it because I just got it cut short recently, but I will grow it out a little bit more and I will dye it purple or something for Gamehouse. So I've always wanted to do it anyways, but now I'm putting it to something. If TSM make Worlds, just make Worlds. They don't have to do anything. I don't care if they 06 it. I mean, I'd be sad, obviously, but if they make Worlds, this head of hair is getting dyed. So you guys can hold me to that. But this CLG game was great. We actually got everything that we wanted the entire game. I mean, we were basically up from, I don't know, minute 1, minute 2. I mean, it was kind of crazy. And I felt like, the whole time that we were pretty much in control. I personally was fine with the way we were giving Rift Heralds in order to, get dragon stacking. It still felt like we had good control over the map at times, like when we needed to. Instinct, I think this was probably one of his better games, and he's not normally a great Jinx player, but he did really well in this game. Maple was fine. Spica, Solo, Chime, I think were the 3-star players in this game. They played very well. Extremely happy about this one. But this was the last one we would get for the split. The Cloud9 game, this draft was infuriating. Extremely so. Renekton is, I guess, playable. And I don't mind the matchup into Gwen, but there are better matchups into the Gwen. Even something like the Olaf, but a lot of teams were picking Set. I would have loved to have seen Solo pick Set into the Gwen, into Fudge's Gwen. I just think we could have done so much there. And then, yes, the Anivia pick was annoying, but you're playing Olaf. You are playing Taliyah. It doesn't matter. Yes, Taliyah's much better, obviously, into Champions who dash and everything, but you still had Poppy, you still had the Gwen that you could utilize this against. I'll be honest with you, Maple looked horrible. I mean, he really didn't look like he understood how to play Taliyah all that well, and that's really concerning to me, considering how important she is in the meta, and the fact that we're not playing her really at all, and then we bring her out in this game, and he looked, again, pretty bad on her. I didn't love that. I really didn't like the Braum pick either from Chime. I don't think Chime necessarily played it that badly, but, like they were saying on the desks, there's no real form of engage. You're just kind of going to run at them and hope that you hit something. And the idea, with the Sivir Olaf, I think specifically is fine, but I do think I would have rathered almost anything else in support and top lane. I really think that those picks were not great. And again, with the Taliyah pick, she is a prominent pick everywhere. I think that TSM, and this is going to be my opinion, I think if Maple's not comfortable on this pick, and he really didn't look it, and you're heading into playoffs, I actually think I'd be having him play something like Lissandra instead, or Silas. Because the whole point of those 2 picks plus Taliyah is you can push in, get around the map quickly. Even Galio, honestly. I know that everybody's going to, we haven't brought Galio up in forever, but if the point is to have a global where you push in the waves and you can roam, have a good global ult, I know that Galio's not going to do nearly as much damage. You can find damage in other parts of the team if you play that. I'm sure that Solo could bring out something spicy in the top lane, or even they could give Chime something like a Seraphine that I think could pump out enough AP damage to make it at least, threatening. But I really hated this comp from the second that it was drafted, and I can tell you that regardless of Anivia, which Jensen played probably his best game of the split on this random pick. He played it extremely well, and I actually wouldn't be surprised to see them bring it out again during playoffs, but it was just bad. Instinct was fine. Everybody's going to criticize him for this game, but he was really just kind of left alone to farm. He did okay. His farming numbers are good, but whenever they're focusing on him and I'm watching him, and maybe it's just that I'm being overcritical, I don't feel like he's hitting, he's missing a lot of CS. I feel like if he hit, even half of those CS more often, that he'd have some pretty big CS numbers, because they do leave him, and like, he's left alone for a while, and it doesn't ever feel like he has an XP advantage or anything either. So I don't know that he's. There's something else going on that I'm missing clearly, and I just don't know what it is. But yeah, I mean, this game was bad. The fact that he even went to 28 minutes is a miracle. All right, the FlyQuest game. Now, this game was a banger. I liked the idea behind it. I personally felt like Maple played just okay. Instinct freaking... we're over the Baron pit, right? And Instinct jumps in, which is fine. I'm okay a little bit with Instinct jumping in. But then what he did afterwards, where he you can like, oh my god, I don't know. I just distinctly remember... I haven't rewatched these games in a couple days, but he flashes like he's attempting to get over the Baron pit to be able to do damage and stuff, and he misses his flash. Oh, it was so bad. Oh, it was terrible. So bad. And then, like, again, the Sejuani pick into the Gwen, like, I really think you could play Set here. It's kind of the same thing. Like, I know you have the instant engage with the ultimate from Sejuani, and Solo played, I think, fine. Like, I didn't really have a problem with it, but I didn't love it. Like, Spica is plenty of engage on his own. Maple, probably one of his better games this year, but people are just going to ban Azir. Like, I don't think TSM can reliably just sit on this pick. He is going to have to play something else. And, like, I'll be honest with you, not to influence what you guys are putting in the comment section, but if you guys put Maple, I'm going to ask you straight up why. Why in the world would you ever put Maple as somebody we'd want to bring back right now? He has shown me that he can play Azir pretty well, and that's about it. I do not like this pick. I do not like what he is doing right now. I am very disappointed. I know that he's doing his best, and that's fine. I will be nice to him, but as much as I can be. But like, if we're trying to be critical here, which is kind of the point of what I do, when I'm watching these games, I just do not feel anything when he is playing. I feel, oh, okay, like, yeah, he gets some good poke here and there. His ults are okay. Oh wait, this is on one champion. What about the other ones? Those other ones are okay, I guess. I just cannot describe to you just how much of a disappointment this has been for me, because I really felt like Maple was only struggling because it was a better region, frankly, especially in the mid lane over in the LPL. But I think it's more than that. I really just think he's either lost confidence or there's just something going on, and I'm just disappointed. Like, it really just feels like he's gonna just play Azir. And Azir's strong, don't get me wrong, but if he doesn't get the Azir, then he's just okay. He's just okay. He's not even good. He's like when he plays Azir, he has games where he can be like between, like, on a scale of 5, he can be like 3.5 to 4-ish range, depending on the game, and then everything else, it just feels like he's like a 2. I don't like it. I don't really know what else to say. It's been disappointing. When Solo is the better solo laner, that's a problem to me. I really do not like. And again, it's nothing against Solo. Like, I want to be clear. I think Solo's fine and he plays his role well. But he's also, like, kind of just locked. Like, he is known. We know what he is. He's not going to be any better than what he is showing right now. Is that good enough? Sure. Absolutely. But, like, if you want to be an elite team in the future, is Solo going to be your guy? Probably not. I could be wrong. I mean, he, out of all the people who are playing at age 29 and above, he and Aframu are kind of smurfing in that regard. Like, they look still very clean. Their mechanics look fine. Like, they don't look slower than anybody else. I think they are defying the age barrier, which I think is freaking awesome. I really do. Like, this split, I will tell you specifically, actually this year overall has really changed my mindset on the age factor in League. I do think players, yeah, they probably slow down a little bit, but like Bjergsen is actually playing extremely well. Regardless of his old man status technically at 26, like the longevity of careers, with Solo, with Aframu, seeing Chime come up for the first time at his age and playing extremely well. Like there's a fine line, I think. Sorry, this is a bit of a tangent, but when it comes to the age factor, right? I think if a player is getting a first-time chance and they are not playing the two easiest mechanical roles, right? When it comes to top and support, I would prefer them to be younger. I think even jungle, just depending. I think X Smithy was great because his big brain. He wasn't as mechanically gifted, but he was still really good. I really do believe that for mid lane and for bot lane specifically, I do wonder what that age cap looks like. Because Jensen's been fine, but he's not been great. Like he wasn't on my All Pro. I don't even know if I put him in the top 5. I might have, but I don't know. I got to think. In no particular order. I'm just looking at it because of FlyQuest. We got Takui, who I put up there. Jojo, obviously. Abadage, Bjergsen. I might have put him 5th. Give me 2 seconds here. Who am I forgetting? Oh, Palafox. Yeah. So I might have put him 5th or 6th, somewhere around there, but I'm not. I just think younger is better when it comes to those, and truly when it comes to prospects specifically, you want to have younger players because then you can sign them longer. They can be a part of your team for longer. They can grow with you. All that kind of stuff. So it's the good part is, and a lot of my initial thinking was outdated because realistically, guys, you got to remember most players by the age of 25 or 26 were getting replaced everywhere across every region. That was kind of the cutoff. But we're seeing players like Bjergsen come back and do well. We're seeing players like Faker continue to play well into his mid and late 20s. There are people who are like Odo Omne, another player who's playing well into his late 20s. He's playing well. I think the training, the physical regimens, the mental part of it, all of that, we're going to see players playing into their 30s. I really would be more surprised if Aframu was out of the league before he was 32, 33, which would be great for this league. The longer that people can play, the more that this whole ecosystem works together and makes sense, kind of grows, right? This allows for you to actually have college level players, people who go, the college scene is probably going to benefit from this more than anybody else. You'll still have your players who are getting picked up, at 16, 17, your general snipers and stuff, your instincts who are getting picked up at a younger age. But you will still have those players who, maybe they were, academy players for a little while. Dokla, another, a lot of CLG, truly, who are getting their first chances. And it's oh, well, wait, maybe they can play 3, 4, 5 more years, 6 more years after we have initially brought them in. And maybe they will still be staying at that high level of play. Maybe even elite still. I still think the elite players, by the time they're 21, 22. But, again, Chime could be a top 3 support with the way he's been playing if he continues to grow, get better, and understand the meta, the way the LCS plays a little bit more, gets more playing time. He could push into that, honestly. I know it sounds crazy, but there's a world where he just continues to get better, and that's great. I mean, there's so much that goes into it, but sorry, a huge tangent again. But when I'm watching this game, again, Chime had an incredible game on this Lulu. I think we're in a good spot right now, guys, for the LCS. And I know a lot of people are talking it down and it's doomsday and everything, but there's a whole lot of other factors that are going into this. So either way, we lost this FlyQuest game. in a game that I felt like we probably could have and should have won. It was a close game, and I think FlyQuest are going to remember that moving forward. Now, we did finish 7th. Yay us. So, we finished 7th at 6-12. For the year, by the way, and again, we'll do a full year overlook here. In the lock-in, we were 1-3, didn't make the playoffs there. In the spring, we were 5-13, didn't make the playoffs there. In the summer, we finally made the playoffs at 6-12. For the year, we had 12 wins, which we normally get in one split. Oh, God, that's gross. Just the fact that we didn't get that many wins. And then we had 28 losses, 12-28. Not ideal, to say the least, this split. Likely the least amount of losses in team history in an entire year. And that includes when we were playing in like tournaments and stuff before there were, scheduled games all the time. So easily our worst season. And again, a lot of people are going to be like, oh no, like TSM don't know what they're doing. There's so many question marks, blah, 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 blah. But I'm just going to tell you now that again, a lot of this is on the former regime who were here. This team got better during the summer. There's still a bit of a plan. I'm still upset about the whole Seoul thing. But, we've made playoffs. That was their goal. They accomplished their goal. Now we got to look, at what's going on. Wait, did I say I was going to do this? Yeah, I'll do the TSM LEC stuff after this stuff because we're in the middle of talking playoffs anyway. So, in case if you were wondering, oh no, we still got to talk about TSM Academy real quick. Apologies. Going to do that now. So TSM Academy are out of Proving Grounds. They were able to beat my Cincinnati Fear, not my, but team from Cincinnati, where I'm from, the Fear. They were able to beat them 2-1. I think Tactical looked okay in that game. Proving Grounds was, we lost to FlyQuest Academy 2-0, and Tactical went a combined 0-8-1. Yeah, 0-8-1. Mia didn't look great. Anda didn't look great. Seoul honestly looked okay. He wasn't great either, to be honest with you. Takeover's the best player on the team now, and you can see kind of what being in the LCS did for him. He went from being a solid, I wouldn't say great, but solid player in Academy to he's probably going to get looked at by some teams somewhere, I would assume, for a starting position in the mid lane. I would honestly say if I'm Immortals, he might be a player to look at. Even TSM should potentially consider it depending on the way they want to go, but Takeover looks good. I am the more and more that I watch these games and I'll be honest with you, I only caught the tail end of the second game, and there wasn't much to glean from that, but he has been, I think, pretty solid this whole season. He had a 3.7 KDA. He was averaging over 9 CS a minute, which is really good. His CS differential so I love GOL.GG has some pretty interesting stats, and there are other places that do too, but I like how easy it is to read theirs. But ahead in CS at 15 minutes, he was doing this 64% of the time. Pretty good. His CS differential at 15 minutes overall was nearly 6, 5.7. I think that's pretty massive, honestly. His gold differential at 15 minutes plus 60. His XP difference almost plus 100. His first blood participation was kind of low because they didn't come to him. How often he was first blooded was only 8% of the time. His damage per minute was 531 almost. His damage percentage for the team was 27%, and he had 9 solo kills. I mean, this is a good young player who really is figuring it out, and I am I am truly impressed. During Proving Grounds, he was basically the same. He had better XP differentials, better gold differentials. Like his damage per minute was even higher. I'm sure that you could say, well, why wasn't he carrying more and blah blah blah. And it's like there's only so much you can do when the rest of your team is playing pretty poorly. You can tell that most of these guys were kind of going through the motions. Like, I don't think Anda's really going to get another chance, honestly. And again, he was probably playing from Canada, I believe, from his home, so I don't know that he was able to really do what he wanted to do, but not ideal for him, for Anda. And again, Seoul, I'm being, time and time again, I'm being proven wrong on Seoul. He really doesn't look ready, honestly, and it is sad to see that because I just wonder how much this hurt his confidence, and he seemed to be a confidence player. The more confidence, like he honestly looked better in his 4 games in LCS outside of the one, I should say 3 of the 4 games in LCS than he has since going back down, and I have to think that's a confidence thing. And with like Cooney leaving, I can't imagine that didn't help. Like I have to wonder if they've kind of already ruined his development with the team. I think that is worth asking. We'll have to see what happens, but yeah, this TSM Academy split was a joke. Clearly it's so interesting to me because there are younger players and even older players who aren't like appreciating being there, learning. The one thing I really liked about Instinct was that he when I was talking to him, very much understood his role and like how appreciative it felt like he was to be even in Academy, right? And the opportunity to learn and get better and help to try to lead his team and all this stuff. People, I think, especially a lot of the pro players right now, they don't see Academy as this place to learn, to get better. I do think Seoul did that as well, and it seemed like Chime did too, but I don't really like it. I don't at all. I think it's really bad that a lot of these players and stuff they seem to go down there and their confidence drops and it's blah blah blah. But it's like everybody's watching your games still. These other teams and stuff, they want to pick up players who perform well, right? And if you go down to Academy and you just smurf on people, like Takeover, right? Then you're gonna be feeling a lot better about things. Like you're going to have more people who are interested in you. You're going to have more teams who are willing to take a chance on you, right? And be able to promote you to a higher placing. And so I'll be honest with you, I wish more people would understand what Academy is for and they would use it well. I think like specifically like all of TL Academy, like those guys have been grinding all year long. And I think almost all of them, if not all of them, are going to have LCS spots next year. 100 Thieves Academy, same thing. I think even some or most of Cloud9 Academy, same thing. I think Evil Geniuses have some players too who will be getting looked at. Like you have to understand, like, that's a stepping stone. And if you crush it at that stepping stone, and you prove your worth, then you're going to get a chance in the LCS. These teams are constantly looking to get better. There's no league in the world that makes as many changes as the LCS, or as League of Legends, in terms of player movement, like percentage-wise. Like, obviously with baseball, right, there's 25 people and they've got 7 minor league systems, so they're moving players in and out all the time, partially because of injury and again because they're they got at any given time 25 people who can play the game. So percentage wise, League of Legends teams are most of the roster's gone within a year and a half to 2 years, almost every time. And so if these people want their opportunity, to make it, then this is what they got to do. You got to go down and you got to go smurf. And especially if you can smurf on a bad team, especially, whoo, that is good stuff. So yes, that's really all I got for TSM Academy. Kudos, guys, for at least getting through the season. I know it's tough. You got a lot going on. Xsmithy, I wish you the best. I hope that you get a chance to stay. I have no idea what they're going to be doing next, at least in terms of that. So, I hope for his sake that he gets the chance to stick around and I think prove it with a better roster, because this roster was tough overall. Trying to control these players was probably like nearly impossible. Especially, I don't know if he was. I think he still was living in LA, so I think he was able to go to the facility. But yeah, just it's unfortunate for him. And all these players, God, even with the Peter Zhang stuff, like, oof. All right, moving on. Here are the teams that made playoffs. Evil Geniuses finished. Let me get this. Actually, I want to make sure I do this right here. Okay, so Evil Geniuses finished first at 15-3. 100 Thieves 14-4. Team Liquid 12-6, coming on strong in the last couple games there. CLG 11-7. You're welcome, Team Liquid. You didn't have to play a tiebreaker because of us beating CLG. Cloud9 at 10-8. FlyQuest at 10-8, with Cloud9 shellacking FlyQuest in their tiebreaker game. TSM, us, at 6-12, and Golden Guardians winning their game over Dignitas, barely, to go 5-13. It just came down in the last weekend to, between the last four teams who won one game in a 3-game weekend. Well, it was us and Golden Guardians. So, yay to both of us. All right, so here's how playoffs are looking. Now, remember, again, it's 8 teams, double elimination for the top 6 teams. We did have a chance at top 6 had we beaten FlyQuest, but we didn't. So that was pretty much over on that Saturday. But Evil Geniuses and 100 Thieves will have a bye week in this first week. Funny enough, we also get a bye week. Yay! The one benefit of being in the losers bracket automatically and not having double elimination is that we do get a bye week technically. So, so Evil Geniuses, 100 Thieves, with I believe Evil Geniuses will get to pick their choice of the 2 winners of the CLG versus Cloud9 game and the Team Liquid versus FlyQuest game. Now, I'll do full-on predictions and stuff. Like, you'll be able to check out GameHouse.com. Go there. That's a cool place where I will have my predictions later. I'll also be revealing my the TGH. Well, I guess I can't do that exactly. I'll be revealing my bracket over on Twitter, I guess, or not bracket. My all pro votes and stuff over on Twitter. But if I had to guess, I would. I'm still gonna pick C9 over CLG. I think. In a best of 5, there's more experience on that team. I think they figure it out. They'll throw a game. It might go to a best of 5. Honestly, that could be a pretty good series. So, I'll put Cloud9 in, and then I'll also put TL in. I think FlyQuest. While I do believe FlyQuest have the ability to upset, they've just not. The second half has not been great to them. They got exposed in some way or another. Jose Dioto did not play nearly as well. Afro Johnson were not as good as they could have been, and Phillips specifically got exposed. Not that he's bad or anything, it's just there are still things he needs to learn as well. So, that would be my prediction. Then I would guess that Evil Geniuses would probably pick Cloud9. I would if I were them. So you'd have EG versus Cloud9 and 100 Thieves versus TL. The 2 really good series, honestly. I think the only bad series potentially of the first 4 would be FlyQuest. But if TL go back to their weird, inability to push leads forward, and their seemingly lack of team fighting, which is so weird considering who these 5 players are. But FlyQuest, one thing they were good at is getting leads. So they could maybe get a good enough lead, 3 times out of 5 against TL if TL are having a bad day. So we'll have to see. What I think will likely happen is, we're going to get We get the highest seed, so I believe we would get either CLG or C9, if I remember correctly the way it goes. So wait, let me make sure this is right here. Yeah, this isn't showing me this. Give me 2 seconds. I thought this would be better at it. LCS playoffs bracket. Where is this? Is this it? No, that's not it. I know that this was on Twitter. Okay, LCS. Sorry, guys. Give me a second here. I'm getting this figured out. I promise. Where is it? Where are you? They're showing they're showing the Academy stuff, but I don't need the Academy stuff right now. I need the LCS bracket. Here we go. Okay. All right. So, apparently no matter what, we play either TL or FlyQuest, depending on who loses. So, I'm going to guess again. I am pretty certain that we are going to end up playing FlyQuest. I cannot, and I won't, do a full-on, breakdown of what we need to do to win and everything, to be honest with you, until we get there. And, if I'm FlyQuest, yes, you did beat us last time, but I actually think that series is going to be at least a little bit closer than people think. It's gonna come down to Maple, at least in my mind. If I'm doing a quick synopsis of it, I think Maple is going to have to play well, and he's going to have to be able to play something other than Azir. He'll get Azir probably one game, maybe two, and if he does, then we have to win those games. But this team is if we play FlyQuest, I think we have a chance. If we play Team Liquid, I think we get 3-0'd. So, I guess we will have to see. I'm kind of surprised again that that things aren't kind of reseeded to a certain degree, but I guess they're anticipating, with the way they have this bracket up, it's it's almost certain that the 3 seed is going to beat the 6 seed. That seems to be pretty much what they're banking on. So, and if that were the case, if we were to move on, by the way, then that next weekend we would play the loser of EG, C9, or CLG. Ugh, man. That just doesn't sound fun, but we'll see. Here's the reality, right? Is, we have to win what? 1, 2, 3, 4? No, 3. If we want to go to Worlds and see me with purple hair, then we have got to win 3 best of 3s or 3 best of 5s, and at some point or another, we will have to beat 2 of EG, C9, CLG, TL, or 100 Thieves. Oof. And that includes after beating FlyQuest. So, hey man, anything can happen. I'm not gonna say that it can't. I don't think it will. But hey, you never know. You never know, right? It could happen. It's not likely, but oh boy, this might be the most unpredictable playoffs that we're gonna have so far. I'm really excited for playoffs. I think it's gonna be awesome. God, I love best ofs anything more than best of 1 or 2s is great to me. Absolutely love it. So that'll do it for the playoff talk. Okay. Let me know what you think, guys. Who do you think we're going to end up playing, TL or FlyQuest? let me know in the comment section below, and why as well. Last little bits here. I did forget the, I believe this is it, the AD carry picks for best bot laners of all time. I'm going to quickly run through these. I won't spend as much time as I did last episode on them. Stixay at 5, good for him. I think that is definitely deserved. Sven at 4, 100% deserved. He's been here long enough now. He has done well. He did well with TSM. He obviously has done really well with Cloud9. Even swapping to the support position, he still, I think, will get picked up by a team as an AD carry at some point next year. Our boy Wild Turtle getting the love and respect that he deserves at 3rd. Sneaky at 2. And then no surprises there, but Doublelift at number 1. Which means that we got one more, by the way, with we've got one more list, which I believe is going to be the top 10 players in LCS history. So let's real quickly go through these again. Stixay, I think, deserved his. We have 3 former TSM players on here. And then Sneaky obviously definitely deserves his. I think Sneaky was incredible. I think consistently good. Even in his last, even though he hasn't played in 3 years now, which I think is an absolute crime. I do think that he was just great. I think one of the premier AD carries in the world. For a while, honestly. And he well-deserved second place for him. So starting with Sven, obviously when he came over, we really hoped that he would be able to do more. But it didn't happen, and that's okay. I think he was really good when he was here, when he wasn't on Ezreal. And I think he was, because of our expectations for him, I think he was consistently overlooked for how good he really was. And, with the revolving door that AD carry has become since we had him, we went from him we went to Kabe, then we got the one split of Doublelift, which was great. Then we went to Lost for all of last year, and then we went to Tactical, and now Instinct this year. He was stability. He was a good player. He was almost always in the top of his game. He was one of the hardest working players. You could tell on TSM Legends and stuff, he didn't love being in the spotlight and stuff. He didn't love being on camera, but he is. I really truly believe that he is one of the most underrated players in LCS history, for how good he is. And the fact that he won a championship in NA and in EU, and was great in EU before coming over, I think he's severely underrated, and I think he's a great player. And I'm glad that he made this list. Wild Turtle, the OG Danny, if you ask me. He's up there on all the all-time lists. I'm okay with Sneaky and Doublelift obviously being ahead of him. I hope that he gets to remain at this spot for a very long time, at least in the top 5. He came into a pretty rough situation and just helped this team turn it around. He is truly just an incredible player, and watching his career kind of dovetail off, just kind of fall off here, has been rough, and not having him in the LCS, like he really wasn't playing all that well by the end of last year. But I do think he deserves, you got to put some respect on his name, and even when he was playing for other teams and everything, it still felt like he was always a threat. And it's interesting because I think his play style, I think, drastically changed as he got older, and more experienced, and he took a lot less risky plays and whatnot. But that's okay. He was a great player, man. I think he was great. I really do. And he was such a nice guy. I remember being in St. Louis. He was there after, I believe he was on FlyQuest after they got eliminated from playoffs, and he still came to St. Louis anyways and was doing like all these videos and stuff. And people were just swarming him, and he was just, enjoying the celebrity type life, And I think he always seemed to handle it with grace, and I just got nothing but love for him. Seriously, great player, incredible player. Last little bit here, our boy Doublelift, and yes, he is still our boy. I know he has just been unbearable at times with some of the things that he has done. His accusations at Reggie were very petty. They were correct. It's a good thing that he called out Reggie. I'm just gonna lay that out there. But you can tell it came not from a place of him wanting something to be done, because he felt like he was, at least to me, I should say, it always felt like he did this out of spite more than out of a sense of trying to help other players have their voices be heard. And I could be wrong, but the fact that it just so happened to align with him going to TSM and offering to play this year, and them saying no, and then Lena leaving and him not getting an LCS spot at all and all this other stuff, he is a person who does things in spite. He always has been. That's kind of why he's been the bad guy of the LCS, if you want to call it that. But I don't really know how else to say this other than Doublelift is by far the best AD carry that there has ever been in the LCS. Probably the best AD carry there ever will be. I know everybody's already excited about people like Danny. I will say, by the way, I think FBI should probably be on this list eventually. I think Stixay's spot is probably going to get pushed off here soon for FBI or Danny. But regardless of that, for Doublelift, almost every team he's ever been on, has won a championship. He is I believe, all-time winningest player in that regard of championships. I'm 99% sure on that one. He helped us to an era of unprecedented success, and he came back in 2020 and just did it again. After being on a ninth place TL team, he comes to Team TSM, who we looked okay, but I still feel bad about the whole Kabi situation. But once Doublelift learned how to play Senna, it was kind of like game over. That lower bracket run was incredible. So, and honestly, 2020 is one of my favorite memories. Doublelift is just he is an enigma, or he is not an enigma. He is a shining beacon of what the LCS has to offer in terms of player ability. Since then, him talking, the LCS is down, blah, blah, blah. I think Doublelift kind of speaks from his own heart, meaning what he believes to be true. And that may not always be true, but he believes it. He's like a man of conviction. He really does believe what he is saying is correct. I will never take that away from him. But I really do wish sometimes and he's one of the people I called out, I believe it was on Hot Takes, when I said, or maybe it was on Twitter, I believe that the LCS needs people like him to be supportive of it, to be pushing the limit as to and trying to make things better instead of just calling out what's worse and what's bad. Now he may be doing that behind the scenes, and maybe I've missed it. I don't watch every one of his streams or anything, but I will tell you, I have been disappointed in his career since he has left the LCS, since he has left TSM. And I still have immense amounts of love for what he has done for this organization, what he's done for the LCS, even despite his world's records. But, the LCS needs him on their side. And if I'm the LCS, I'm trying to repair that relationship at all costs and having him, promote the LCS to his followers and to everybody else. Showing him the plan, having him help make decisions with it. If I were them, that's what I would do. And there's a reason why he's number one. And he may end up being, as much as it's going to make me and a lot of other people sad, I think he's going to end up being number 1 on that top 10 players list, guys. I'm just going to let you know now. Like, I think it's him and Bjerg. I don't really think anybody else is close. I really don't even know who the hell is going to be third. It might be Sneaky, I guess, maybe. I could see that being the case. I mean, maybe X Smithy. I doubt it, but maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I guess I personally probably would have put like Wild Turtle or Afromu, or Sneaky, I guess, but we'll see. I just know that this is these lists I think are really fun and interesting, and I like Doublelift being at number 1. And I mean, you guys can flame me for it. I do have problems with some of the things that he does, but in terms of as an LCS player, there is nobody better at the AD carry role. Oh, excuse me. Woo. Got a little bit of hiccups here coming on. So we got to finish up then quickly. If you've stuck around to this part, then TSM LEC. Okay. I will tell you that I have my own rumors and stuff that I have just kind of put out there on to the Twitter place. TSM aren't going to the LEC, at least as of right now. Now, obviously things can change, but I've heard that a lot of these deals, or not even heard, I've seen that a lot of these deals are apparently getting done here this week. I know who put out that rumor in terms of who from TSM leaked it. I'm not going to expose them on here for it. I believe that there are ulterior motives to why that got leaked. Here's what I will say. From what I know, from what I have been told, it never left one discussion. There was a discussion about, well, maybe we could just buy the LEC spot. It never really left that kind of a conversation. So I'm squashing this right now, at least from my personal understandings. I shouldn't say I'm squashing it because I could be wrong. Like, my sources could be wrong. But from what I am being told, TSM are not only not going to the LEC, they are not the NA org. I would like to also point out that the way that tweet is worded, it does not say LCS org. It says NA, North American Organization. That means that it's probably an org that's not in the LCS right now. Just throwing that out there. That we're looking at the LEC spot. I don't think TSM are going anywhere right now. That is not to say that they won't in the future. Okay? They may. If the LCS really doesn't get its shit together, doesn't try to get better soon, yeah, that could be it for them. Okay? Like like TSM, the problem is the LCS needs teams like TSM, TL, 100 Thieves, C9, and Evil Geniuses. The rest of them really don't matter. Like CLG, maybe now that they're finally starting to get better, they'd have to show, I think, a little bit more than truly one split of success for a team, for anybody to, consider them in that top, need to be in the LCS role. I was telling people for years who would ask me, like, if you're going to spend money to get into an esport, you should just go buy the CLG spot for the LCS because it's going to be worth a lot more than it is now. We're already seeing that, a couple years later, and they're 3 to 4xing, which is pretty huge, to be honest. Like, I don't think you guys understand. Like, you put 10 million in, you're getting 30 to 40 million out of it. That's a nice investment. So good for League in that regard. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to see, guys. I am. Again, I'm pretty confident. I would say I'm like 90% plus confident that TSM aren't going anywhere. I think the LCS would have a conniption and would do nearly anything to make sure that TSM did not leave the LCS before they let them leave the LCS. Now, obviously, they can't fully control it, but I think even people up like at the top of Riot Games, like I think Chris Greeley would be involved. I think Jackie Felling. I think it's Felling. If I remember correctly. I know it's Jackie, and I can't remember her last name. I'm so sorry. So sorry, Jackie. I haven't even met you yet. I think I'll be meeting you here, hopefully, in Chicago. But, I think that the top level people will be coming to TSM and be like, hey, what do we got to do to keep you here before TSM were to leave? I know it's fun and everybody loves speculation, right? That's what the offseason is going to be about. And we're going to be having plenty of speculation because I don't think Spica's staying at this point. So I almost am at the point where I am the only person I'm predicting to come back is Chime at this point. Oh boy. So we will we'll have to see. But I'm just telling you again, TSM aren't going to the LEC. I'm pretty freaking confident of that. So let's put those rumors to bed and start focusing on what we're going to do for the next LCS split after the playoffs, obviously. Hey, you know what? And maybe we'll go on a run to playoffs. Maybe I'll be dyeing my hair. That would be the happy. I will video the whole thing, and I'll be the happiest I've ever been to have anything done to my hair in my entire life. Oh man, it's fun stuff, guys. Fun stuff. If you like this show, please take a second to like, subscribe, and comment if you're watching on our YouTube channel. Hit that bell icon so you don't miss another episode. I want to continue to make this the #1 TSM podcast out there, so please leave a review on any podcasting platforms that you are listening on. You can hit me up on Twitter at TGHRobertHaynes. You can hit the Game House up at TGH Esports. You can share this with your friends through that as well. Check out thegamehouse.com for all of our awesome content. Fortnite has freaking Dragon Ball Z now. What the heck? Crazy. With that, as always, thank you for tuning in. This show, now that we're in the postseason and offseason, comes out every Thursday for right now. That's what I'm committing to for now. And it's still exclusively, though, regardless of the day, for your TSM ear holes. I'm Robert Haynes, and this has been Talking TSM. I'll see you all next week.